Hey guys, Ken Smith Fishing. So this is a video that has been bouncing around in my noggin for several weeks, and it's one of those that on occasion I do these where I start the video and I'm not real sure where this video is going, but I wanted to share some information with you guys. I wanted to kind of have a conversation with you. Hopefully you'll give me some comments and some of your thoughts on this matter as well. But I did a video back in August of 2019, and I don't remember the exact title, but basically the concept behind it was, from the outside looking in, I felt like that professional anglers, specifically back then BASS and FLW guys, were getting kind of the short end of the stick from a payout standpoint. And in that video, we did a lot of comparisons. We did some comparisons to pro golfers. We did some comparisons to pro golfers' caddies. And we talked about how the fishing industry was much smaller than some of the other industries, certainly smaller than Major League Baseball or the NFL or Major League or the NFL, the NHL. But that all kind of goes, we all understand that. But where we have struggled as an industry is attracting, but we've had some success with attracting, mainly Irwin Jacobs, who did a great job with this, but keeping non-endemic sponsors. And I love the little thumbnail that I put at the beginning of this video. Where did all the sponsors go? And if you kind of go around the page there, on the top left, you've got, the General Larry Nixon with the Chevy on there. Chevy was a huge sponsor, specifically through FLW. The Costas, it was the FLW Costa events for years. And then over there on the right, you see under the picture of Jim Tutt, Redman. I mean, we fished that was the Redman Trail for years and years. It was, before the Costas, before the BFLs, it was a Redman circuit. You see up there at the top, STP was a big sponsor. Obviously, Kellogg's was a big sponsor in a big way of professional fishing. You see Scott Martin there in the middle of the page with National Guard. Weed Eater, some of you guys may not remember that. They were a sponsor in the business. Walmart was a huge sponsor in the business. And, Walmart's a $555 billion company. The M&M Snickers folks over there. Tyson Foods, which you can't really see them on the far right. They're in Land O'Lakes, which is the underlying, you can't really see it there. I've covered it up with so many, but those were all non-endemic sponsors that came at one point, mostly around Irwin Jacobs, who was a great promoter, 07, 08 through 12 or 13, before a lot of those guys started leaving the business. And this is a very strange time in the fishing industry, specifically trying to get sponsors in the fishing industry. So iCast is going on, starts I think this weekend or early next week. And in talking to several friends in the industry who are going to iCast, and by the way, Bernie Schultz just wrote a really good article talking about the changes in sponsorship at the corporate level. Matter of fact, the St. Lawrence River Bassmasters event is the Farmers event. I think this may be the first event Farmers has ever sponsored. Non-endemic, nice, right? But Bernie wrote an article talking about all that's in motion in the industry and how many guys are losing sponsors and hustling, trying to find new sponsors. And, specifically if you are dependent upon endemic sponsors, in other words, sponsors in the fishing business, this is a really tough time. You think about all the rod companies, all the reel companies, they can't get enough product to fulfill demand. So two things. Number one, why would they pay a pro staff guy and supply a pro staff guy or girl with rods and reels or boats and motors when they can't get enough to supply their retail buying public? And likewise, if you can't supply your public, why advertise, right? I mean, I understand you don't want to lose market share, but to some degree, it's really hard to spend money on pro staff / advertising when you can't fill the orders that you already have. So a lot of guys I know going to iCast were talking about this was going to be maybe one of the hardest years to either maintain relationships or develop new relationships. So the lifeblood of the fishing industry, and likewise the golf industry. I mean, if you look at golf right now, Rolex, I've been watching the British Open over the weekend or during the week and today. Rolex is a huge sponsor. Rolex has nothing to do with golf. It's a non-endemic sponsor. BMW, a non-endemic sponsor. There are all these luxury brands that want to market to that consumer that also is a consumer of golf. Those are non-endemic sponsors. And we need to attract non-endemic sponsors to our business. Now, I had a conversation because I was thinking about this video with a friend of mine that's in the advertising business. And the advertising business has morphed, if you will, greatly over the last few years because it's easier now to get an ROI, a return on your investment number, on your advertising spends. You guys remember for years and years and years, you would get those big long door hangers on your front door that would be a lawn care company, it would be a pest control company, it would be all these different companies, and they spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars putting those on our door, but they never could say, well, our business picked up because we put 30,000 hangers on doors in Richardson and Zavala in Dallas, Texas. Well, to some degree with internet marketing, you can do that. You can now, to a much higher degree, sorry, a little camera issue there. So to some degree, you can track that. You guys know 6th Sense is a huge sponsor of my channel. And I ask you guys when you shop at 6th Sense to use the KEN10 code. That not only gets you 10% off, it also tells 6th Sense that I'm driving business to 6th Sense. And that's key for them, just for their advertising spends through me, to know that there's a value in that. So companies can see more and more of that. And I say all that to say this. One of the things that when Spark approached me, I felt really strongly that if they supported the fishing community would support them back. And speaking of which, this is just what Spark has paid out year to date. So they paid, let's just go through it because man, it's a lot of money. They paid out in the first tournament, or in the first tournament they made a payout in was at Falcon. They paid Mark Biondi Jr. and Sr. $2,000 for 6th place. And then they made another payment in February at the 4th tournament to Byron Biondi, which I believe is a cousin of theirs, and Jason Greenfeld. And then Moon Pie and I won money at Rayburn, $6,000. And then Sean and Cole Temple won $2,000 at Ray Roberts. Mike Perkins and Stan Grazzini won $4,000 at Amstead for 4th place. And by the way, notice all of these are just top 10 finishes. They're not actually, there's only 2 wins in here. Forrest Wilson and Derek Kirkendall at Amstead won a couple grand. And then Sterling Martin and Courtney, I guess that's Burrend. I'm sorry, Courtney, I'm probably mispronouncing your name. Won $6 grand for 4th place in Amstead. And then on the 2 back-to-back tournaments at LBJ, that was Sterling and Courtney. And then the next day, Garrett and Brandon won $2 grand. At Toledo Bend, Corey Pitt and Lane Masters won $8,000 for 9th place. And then at Tawakoni, Bobby and John, who had that 26-pound stringer, they won $4 grand for 1st place there. So they've already paid out $38,000 to bass champs, anglers through the first 16 tournaments, and we had payouts in, what's that look like, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 of the tournaments. And remember, the money rolled, so every dollar that was promised has been paid out. And because Moon Pie and I won the 6 grand at Rayburn, they then doubled that money up again and paid 8 grand at Toledo Bend. So they've been great to work with. There's another $5,000 up for grabs for the top finisher that is a Spark Energy customer or a Spark Fishing affiliate member at the championship at OH Ivy. And then we've also got the big bass competitions going on. 9 lakes, and you see all of them there. Amstead, Cedar Creek, Conroe, Falcon, Fork, Palestine, Ray Roberts, Rayburn, and Toledo Bend. There have only been 4 fish weighed, so all you got to do is be Spark Fishing customer or Spark Bass affiliate. Catch an 8+ pound fish from one of these lakes, actually from any lake. I'll show you the rest of that in a second. Have it approved by ShareLunker. And then at the end of the year, they're going to pay $2,000 to the top fish out of each of these 9 lakes. So you see there, Jalen Walker, the young man, caught the 9-pounder at Amstead the other day. He's already won $250 for catching the 9-pounder, and right now he's leading for the $2,000. Mark Biondi Jr. caught an 11.35 at Falcon, so he won $500 for it being over a 10-pounder from Spark, and he's got another $2,000 on the line out there if somebody doesn't knock him off that. Patrick Sutton with an 11.19 at Fork. He's already won $500, and he's got another $2,000 if he can win Fork. I'll bet you somebody can still catch a bigger fish from Fork or Falcon, especially this fall as those fish fatten up. Nobody at Palestine, nobody at Roberts. I'm leading Rayburn, which still surprises me. I thought somebody would have bumped me at Rayburn by now. There was a 12-pounder caught at Rayburn today, by the way. And a 3-fish tournament down there, the guys won it with 2 fish that weighed a little over 20 pounds, a 12-pounder and an 8-pounder. And then nobody's weighed an 8-pounder out of Toledo Bend. So there's another $18,000 they've already promised to play. And then on top of those guys that have weighed fish from the 9 lakes, don't forget, from any lake in Texas, if it's approved by ShareLunker as an 8 or bigger, you can win some more money. So Mark there had a 10-pounder out of Nacogdoches. He won $500. Mark Biondi Sr., who won the money earlier in the year in the South Division, he caught a 9.5 over at Joe Pool. He won another $250. Jason Branham, an 8-pounder at Belton, $250. David Burton, a 9-pounder at Fork, who I think he was leading Fork at one point, but he's been knocked off now, $250. And then Jared Atkins, an 8-pounder at Bridgeport. So they committed in a very big way. And then they also have been doing the $250 giveaway every week here on my channel. Matter of fact, let's do one right now while I'm thinking about it. And so they've paid out $250 a week now times 27, about to be 28 weeks right there. Our winner this week's going to be Scott Barnett from Mansfield, Texas. So Scott, be looking for that. An envelope that says rewards, and that'll be a $250 gift card from Spark Energy. So they came to us, and by the way, I got a little bit of pushback on this early in the year. When Spark approached me, I wanted to create a program that benefited everybody. I am in the unique position that I am not trying to make a living off my channel. And so I wanted to create a partnership with Spark and with all of you guys and girls to make this successful and to bring non-endemic money into bass fishing. And they have paid out 7 to see, $48,000 already, another $29,250 to be rewarded. And that doesn't include all the $250s and $500s and $1,000 they will pay out for ShareLunker fish. That's just money we already know they're going to pay out, $77,250. And we really thought when we started this process that the fishing industry, the fishing community in Texas would respond generously towards Spark. And I got to tell you, I've not seen that to the level that I had hoped we would see it. We've had a couple of hundred people join Spark Energy or the Spark Fishing Affiliate. Now I know everybody can't join Spark Energy, but I look around, Churro Energy, TXU Energy, NRG Energy, they've not done anything for us as fishermen. Matter of fact, they've not really done anything for us. They're not doing giveaways. They're not benefiting what we enjoy doing. So I'm still not sure why people haven't made that transition to Spark Energy. But even just on the Spark Fishing, where anybody can do it for $75, number one, it would support the industry. It would tell them we're interested in them continuing this. And it's a really pretty dang easy way to win money. So I take some of the blame for this in the messaging. Early on, I didn't realize how many people, we didn't realize how many people lived in communities, especially through Central Texas, all of the Bass Champ Central Division. Most of those people live places where they can't make a selection as to what energy provider. Same way with all the people who live right around Rayburn. In Zavala, we can, but the people around the lake are all in a co-op. But nonetheless, if we want Spark and other companies like this to do things like this in the future, we need to support them back. I will tell you, I have a little bit of the knowledge of what Spark makes off one of their customers. And obviously the 75 bucks to join the Spark affiliate program is just 75 bucks. They have covered less than a quarter of what they have paid out this year. And what amazes me about that is they're interested in doing this again next year. We're working on the parameters of this. Again, I accept some of the responsibility for the messaging early on. We should have created that Spark affiliate program earlier because we've confused some folks now, not realizing that you don't have to have Spark Energy as your provider to still qualify for all these prizes. And again, all you got to do is go to sparkfishing.com and sign up. It's 75 bucks for the year, and it makes you eligible for all of these prizes and all the lakes that nobody's even caught a fish out of yet for that 2,000 bucks for the big bass stuff. So I'm interested to hear you guys' feedback on how we can make this program better, what we did right, what we did wrong. I still think, and again, Spark said they accepted some of the blame along with me for not knowing how to do this, but guys, we kind of made this up, right? They came to us and said, we want to benefit the fishermen. How do we do that? And so we just kind of put our heads together, and we've learned a lot as we've gone through the year doing this. But this is the litmus test to me, in Texas anyway, for non-endemic sponsors to come to our level. There's always going to be non-endemic sponsors who support Major League Fishing and who support, and Bass Champs, and who support FLW because of the TV exposure, right? There is some value just in TV exposure. They're going to spend that money. We're not getting that at the local level. So at the local level, we've got to show those companies that we appreciate them trying to help us out. So again, I'm asking you guys, number one, I'm asking if you haven't yet, please consider switching to Spark Energy. And by the way, I want to talk about this too. Somebody wrote to me the other day and they said, hey, I went to Power to Choose and Spark has a poor customer rating. And so I went to the same place, and what I discovered was the Power to Choose is a marketing organization. And it was really interesting. TXU had a perfect rating with like 120 complaints in the last 6 months, and Spark had like a 2-star with 3 complaints in the last 6 months. So look, it's just an energy company, right? Our lights have not gone off this year other than when everybody else's did, which was not Spark's fault, it was Encore's fault. It's a good company, it's a trustworthy company. We're plugged in with the CFO. If we have problems, he'll resolve, or they'll resolve any issues we've had. They have been a great partner to work with. They have continued to try to make this work, and they want to make this work in the future. So I'm asking you guys to help me get this right, to help show them. I mean, we really need 3 or 4 times the people who've gotten involved with Spark this year to show them that we're interested in doing this. Probably a quarter of the field at the Bass Champs Championship will even be eligible for that prize. Almost nobody's cashing in on the big bass stuff. There's a ton of stuff that can still be done here, ton of money that can still be won. And again, I'm just asking you guys to think about this and to hopefully support Spark, supports us, but mostly it supports you guys. Trust me, Spark has paid you guys a whole lot more money than they have paid me this year, and that was by design. Again, as I said, I was trying to design something to bring money to the community, not to Ken Smith and his family. And I still think we've done that, but I'm open to you guys' feedback. So I know that was a little bit of a different video, but I appreciate you guys watching. I'm really interested in your feedback. And also one other thing. Now this is a little bit strange, but I'm going to ask you guys to do this for me. So if you know anything about Angie's List was originally created as a community, sort of a newsletter to say, I needed my yard mowed and I found a good yard guy. And it became very commercial, and now it's basically a paid place people pay to advertise. We need an exterminator for our house. One of you guys is an exterminator. We're talking about maybe buying a new car. One of you guys is a car dealer here in Texas. If you're interested in getting kind of more of this community feel to the fishing industry, post in the results below who you are and what you do if you're a direct-to-consumer. And let's kind of create our own little bit of community here. I'm a life insurance guy, right? If you need life insurance, please give me a call, or long-term care insurance or an annuity. I'd love to talk to you. Let's do that as a community, and I'll just kind of keep a running channel, a running note in my notes. So if somebody says, "Hey Ken, I was interested in buying a new Toyota. Who is that guy that worked for Toyota or wherever?" I'll keep a list of that so we can create a community here together. So if you don't mind doing that, again, in the comments below, say who you are, say what you do. And if you want to put your contact info in, I'm not going to take that down. That's up to you. You're welcome to do that. If you don't want it out in public, you can just send it to me and I'll be glad to share that with anybody that asks. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Headed to Basscat this next week. Actually, we leave tomorrow. When you guys are watching this, I'll be up there hopefully learning about the new products coming out. And as soon as they tell me I can talk about those, I'll have videos up on those as well. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys here in the next week.